Thank you for tuning into the online edition of the 21st Tbilisi International Film Festival's industry platform. Once again, I won't get tired of expressing my gratitude towards the festival team for not letting the global pandemic stop them from organizing a slightly different, but still a very, very important festival, even if it's only digitally available to us and we don't get to experience it together. While the industry platform of the festival has been going on since November, the film screening part of the festival has officially opened yesterday via Festival Scope platform. So please, for more information, check out the Facebook and website of Tbilisi International Film Festival and join in for the screenings as well. So let's get back to why we're all here. Right now. This is the fourth masterclass of the series. And for those of you who haven't been able to participate before or join in previously, you can always go back to the social media, Facebook, and watch the recordings of the masterclasses. And before I invite our guest in, I would like to remind you all that the masterclass is live. It is live streamed on Facebook as well, and it is interactive. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions during the masterclass, and I will do my best to read all of them to our guest. So you can ask away simply by clicking on Q&A box down below on your window, on your Zoom window, and just write in your question, send it over, and we'll do our best to answer it. So let me just make a quick introduction to our guest who needs no introduction. I am very honored and extremely excited to present today's guest, a highly acclaimed Hungarian filmmaker, a living legend, and a longtime friend of the festival, Mr. István Szabó, who was gracious enough to agree and participate, even if it's via Zoom. And I'm sure you all know that he's a key figure of the Hungarian post-war cinema, that he was the first director to bring home the Oscar back to Hungary in '81 for his magnificent film Manifesto, that he's one of the most critically acclaimed filmmaker of the past few decades, and that his work not only touched but influenced generations of directors, including Georgian filmmakers. So I could sit here and talk about him for hours on end, but that's not why we're here. And sadly, we only have 1 hour. So let's just give the floor to Mr. Szabó, who has 60 years of experience in cinema to cover under 1 hour. So please, Mr. Szabó, take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this nice introduction. Even I will see myself a little bit differently, more decorated now after this introduction. So, fine. My really aim is to speak a tiny bit about film. So, why film? Why not writing a novel, or why not composing music, or why not being on the stage and try to express myself together with my friends on stage, moving and fight with each other. So why motion picture? Why film? Is film something different? Is film unique? Has film something which is, maybe we can mention art, or film is only a mixture of literature and music and painting, nothing else? So as I started to work, it means study films. 250 years ago, or what you said about me?
Okay.
So when I started to study film, I asked myself, what is unique in filmmaking? What is what only film motion picture can show? And I found something for myself. Maybe other filmmakers are not agree, but to me, this is important. And I think this is a living human face. A living human face with emotion. They just born in front of us and change into another emotion. You cannot write down, you cannot paint. They are beautiful portraits painted by fantastic people like Tiziano, Rembrandt, etc. But they paint only one situation, and they cannot paint the changes. So they can paint a portrait of a beautiful young woman who is in love, and they cannot paint a beautiful young woman who is just jealous. But you cannot paint the moment how somebody is coming into a room and the face full of love became jealous. So these changes, the changes of emotions or idea, this is fantastic. What we can show. And I think that's why it's not accidental that the audience, the people love so much actors and actresses. We're speaking about movie stars. And some people, they think the movie star is created by a film director or by a producer or by money or by distributors and etc. And I don't think so. The star is created by the audience trust. If the audience has a feeling that this is a face which is near to me and I have a trust seeing her or his emotions, and I follow her or his emotions, and even I have a feeling, yeah, those are my emotions that I can see on the screen, then this person will be slowly a star. So easy it is. So to me, the respect to somebody, somebody who can express our emotions in a special time, and this change always. We can see how important actors or actresses are on our heart in a special period, and then slowly another person is coming who is more important to us. So the time change, the situation change, even the politic change, and we have trust on another face. This is, to me, the most important thing in motion picture. If we speaking about movies, they telling us a story. I am not speaking about documentaries and not speaking about news. I'm speaking only about motion pictures telling a story. So taking seriously my job, I thought I will tell you what are my questions that I ask myself always when I'm doing a film. The first question, what I ask always, what is the film about? What is what I would like to tell to the audience? because this is maybe the most important thing to know. What is what I would like to express? Then, because I am working always on one scene, not on an old film, I have only one scene for today, for this shooting day. I ask myself, what is the scene about concerning the message of the other film?
Mhm.
And then the next question is, what moved the scene forward to the whole story? Because if I cannot find something what moves the scene, zum Beispiel the scene, for example, the scene is a face of a nice woman who is watching somebody.
Mhm.
This is the scene. So how can this scene move forward the story? This is the next question. And what is the human emotion that we must see now? Or now? Or if we cannot see any emotions,
Mhm.
then maybe this is a part of the message. No emotions.
Mm.
Yeah, it's only a possibility. Then what is the moment what we must be emphasized now in our film, and how to emphasize it in this scene? And then, most important thing, what is the long-lasting impact? What I would like to be keep, and what is what the audience has to keep in his mind. So what is this? What is the picture? What the audience has to keep in her mind, and will represent the whole message.
Mhm.
Have you seen Eisenstein's Ivan? Yeah. If I mentioned this title, maybe you remember the face of Ivan with his bot, and behind him a long queue of people in the snow. You remember that?
Yes.
This is a picture what can represent the whole film, represent the relationship between the people and the Tsar, which can show the power of the Tsar and the people and the cold and the snow. So the whole atmosphere of the film. Where are the point and the images of understanding the story? I have to create the scenes, and I have to create the pictures so that they are, if there are some questions, the audience has to understand it. Have you seen Hitchcock's Psycho?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
People.
of course. Then you remember the shower scene?
Of course.
Okay, jump. So what is the tension in the image? And you can answer me. What should the viewer know now at this phase of the story? And what is what the audience should not show now just now. I have to know it when I'm speaking with my actors, when I'm giving advices or asking them something. What is the color in which determines, the whole image? I remember I did a film, I was quite young, maybe 30, when I did the first film on color. And I have a wide shot, and in this wide shot, I have a leading actress. And what she did was fantastic, and I was very happy. And then I have seen the rushes in the studio, and I found my actress not in the pictures. I asked the cameraman, what is going on? Where is the actress? And he showed me, on this side, what you wanted. On this side. Oh. On the other side of the picture was a shop. And front of the shop was a yellow advertising. So when we look at the picture, we show automatically the yellow advertising and not my actress. So you have to know what kind of colors are on the screen. And I can tell you very similar experiences with sound. So sometimes a very special sound, for example, a railway station, or for example, ambulance. Maybe you have heard the ambulance 5 minutes ago passed by an ambulance car, and you heard it, I am sure, and then you ask yourself, what is it? And you didn't listen. So if I'm going to ask you, what is what I said 5 minutes ago, you don't remember because it was an ambulance. Yeah. So I ask myself, what is the speed? What is the rhythm? And the next question is, where does the light come from? Mm-hmm. Very important. The great difference is, for example, between the light of Vermeer, mm-hmm. I show you, it's coming in through the window, yeah. And this is a very natural light. No lamps from above, no other light, only the real life and the real light from outside. And see the face of Rembrandt. It's a very special light, only to see his face and especially his eyes. Okay, so it's very important to me how a picture is lighted. The next important thing is to me, what are the protagonist's basic characteristics? Othello. Mm-hmm. It's about jealousy. Yeah, but who is jealous? Othello is jealous. Desdemona. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's something or somebody more important in the story whose jealousy makes the tragedy. And this is Iago. who is jealous or not hello. So I have to know it. To create those scenes and create this kind of jealousy, which is in the story, what Shakespeare would like to tell is more important than the other one. Or Hamlet, an intellectual who is hesitating, who has an idea how to do, but don't know exactly what to do, because if he is doing like his mother and his uncle, then it's wrong. So how to do and what to do? So if somebody is living in a country full of peace and no problem, then it's time to hesitate. This is a Hamlet version. And this is what is in a revolutionary period, or what is in a dictatorship, or what is in the country with enormous troubles. And he hesitated so long, then what's happened? So I have to know, and this is very, very important, what are the characters striving at the in the scene, in the whole story, and what is the protagonist's basic character. So the next thing, which is very funny, I ask only my actors how to do it, and this is what are the character psychical and physical conditions like. For example, is cold outside and the window is open, or they came from the snow, Three Sisters second act, or it's warm, or it's raining, or they are hungry. Imagine Romeo and Juliet, and Romeo is very, very, very hungry. Mm-hmm. And imagine a love scene. Or Juliet is tired. So you have to know the physical conditions only, and the actors are very happy if they have something, a physical condition, but they can show. Generally to say, intensity is probably one of the most important things. Passion, tension, and fight. And an energy which is always present, not only the energy of the actors, energy of you, and energy of the whole crew. There are some people, some colleagues of mine, they think that the film is exactly what the director would like to do. And it's not so. The film is how the crew's atmosphere working, how the crew is working, and its influence everybody. Truthfulness is also important. And last, when I told you at the beginning, only with other words, and this is the irrational power of the faces. So the cast. When we're doing theater, we're giving something, we're giving out. And when we're doing film, we're taking in. And this is an enormous difference. And not every good actor can do it. simple live in front of the camera. Not sit down, only sit down. Not drink a cup of coffee, only drink a cup of coffee. Not be nice with a lady who's going to ask me questions, only be nice with a lady who's going to ask me questions. That's all. I don't want to be longer and boring.
Thank you so much for talking to us about everything about film. But I would like to ask you a question about, you talk about actors and actresses a lot, and you have such a great experience with Hungarian and American and all the international actresses, right? Could you speak a little bit about maybe difference when you have like maybe language barrier? Does that change anything? Like, could you talk about the process that you have with your actors? Because you do take a long time to talk to them and discuss with them the scenes, and we would like to hear more about how your process is with actresses and actors.
The question has two different parts.
Mm-hmm.
The simple part is the language. Actors, they have not really interest in languages. They would like to have an eye contact, an eye which express everything. Of course, they know what the person opposite on the other side will tell them, because they know the screenplay. So it's nothing new. But the emotion, how something was sad or not sad, so how, you know, the look, the eyes are working, this is more important to the actors, and not the language. Mm-hmm. So even I have scenes in my life in which I had German actors, Polish actors, Czech actors, and Hungarian actors. 4 different languages. And even in this group, there were 2 German persons, 2 fantastic German actors, and one of them was from West Germany. It happened in the 70s. One of them was West Germany, and the other one was from East Germany. So they had nothing to do with each other. If I am speaking about education and about, you know, the country where they live, absolutely different mentality. And they have absolutely no problem with the language. So this was the easy side of the question. The different side of the question is a kind of education, and I am not speaking about school. Mm-hmm. I am speaking about the mentality of the country, how this mentality accept this profession acting. And in some country, acting is very important. And in another country, acting is only something to entertain people. And in another country, acting has a 500-year tradition. And you can see the enormous difference. One example, maybe the person who taught me this thing will be not angry that I'm telling her name. Krystyna Janda, a fantastic Polish actress. Mm-hmm. And I asked him once, this line is maybe not so important. Throw it out. So it's not important to do it very understandable. Throw it. And she was watching me and she said, I'm sorry, I am an actress. My profession is to say every letters how it's written. Somebody who wrote this text because they wanted to say something with every word. I have to make understandable every word. Maybe I am not really good as an actress, then help me to do it better. Mm. But not understandable, only throw out of the window. I cannot do it. It's not my profession. But if I ask another actor from another country, throw it out, they're doing it without a problem. You know, I'm talking about you, and some words are not important. Why not to throw it out? You understand what I am doing? Yeah. So, and I was thinking about it. What is this answer? I'm an actress. What is behind this answer? And then I found it out. Hmm. Poland was occupied for several hundred years from Germany on one side and from Russia from the other side. Mm-hmm. You can read it in Tolstoy's War and Peace. Yeah? Yeah. And the Polish people, they had a very small one-way street. And the actors, they were the people, they had the language to save. Mm-hmm. So the education of a Polish actor and actress is to save the language, to say every word. And in another country, which is only entertaining, you know, the prince, or entertain, you know, the graph, it's no problem. You understand me?
Yes, of course.
An English actor, behind an English actor is 500-year accepted profession. An English actor is like a good English actor. An accepted English actor is like a university professor at the Oxford University. You understand me? Because the society accepts them like this since 500 years. So this is the difference. It was a tiny bit long and complicated, but I hope it was not so difficult.
Oh, it was a very well put answer and very beautiful one. So we have a question from the audience. What are the most important things to consider when making a film about history?
I never did a film about history, so I have no idea. Because when I did a film with a background of another century, mm-hmm. I wanted to do a contemporary film. So costumes, makeup, doesn't matter to me. I want to do always a contemporary film. If I have something historical, I would like to find, you know, the roots, what is similar, what we have from this period, you know, and historical thing only because they are historical, not really interest me. But, you know, probably they have advisors and they have specialists for costumes and you know, the sets and and maybe the language too, I don't know. But if I made a film from the 15th century, it must be something very contemporary in the 15th century. That's why I'm doing the film.
So you're more interested in telling a story, talking about characters, than the actual period drama or talking about the period itself, because
I am interested in one period, and this is today.
So we have another question. Sorry. You always start thinking about the essence, what is story about, or sometimes do you imagine pictures, sounds, situations, and then try to discover what those things are about? So what you talked about in the first few minutes, do you first imagine pictures, sounds, situations, and then try to tell a story, find a story?
I don't know. I really don't know. Sometimes I have an idea which moves me, and then I start to write down, and of course I am thinking about actors always. Sometimes I know the cast before the screenplay is ready. Sometimes I'm writing so that I have 2 or 3 actors' photo on my desk because I want to see their face when I'm writing, the dialogues. I am very deeply, how to say, an actor-director. But of course, and message. So, what I would like to tell.
Yes. So we didn't get to screen your last film, Final Report, on the festival. When I asked the festival programs, they told me that they were trying to get your film for the last couple of months, but they weren't able. I don't know what was the reason behind it, but could you talk? Yeah, but they were trying. At least that's what they've told me. So could you tell us about making film now after so many years? Because as our audience remembers, in 2012, 8 years ago, at Tbilisi Film Festival was open with your film. And after so many years, you have another film. And could you talk about the process, filmmaking process right now in 2020? How was it in 2019 and 2020 to make a film? And could you speak a little bit about the film itself for our audience?
So I have no idea why you don't get the film. Probably the coronavirus, because nobody is to find and nobody. So the sad thing is that we opened the film in February, and these 2 weeks we had 30,000 visitors, which is fantastic. And after two weeks, the cinemas and the theater, they were closed. So the film lost. I don't know why. Then you asked, and what happened? I don't know. I have no idea. You have to ask the producers. The film is about a medical doctor, a university professor, cardiologue, so heart problems, who getting to retirement, over 65, and he is married with an well-known opera singer, and he loves opera too. But of course, he loves his own work, and he don't know what to do. And then his mother, who is living in a small village when he was also born, telling him that the village doesn't have a medical doctor. And he decided to go down, of course, with the permission of his wife. He's going down and start work as a village doctor. And the story is about the conflict, what this person has today with the mayor of the village, with some people of the village. So how this person who knows everything about the human body and who can help a lot of people face, you know, with the contemporary problem. This is the story. At the end of the story, he goes to the opera and start to sing in the chorus of the opera because he loves opera too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. We have another question from George Megrela from Facebook. He asks, as I know you don't like to make rehearsals while shooting, is it true? And could you...
Sorry, what is the question?
So the question is, as I know you don't like to make rehearsals while shooting, is it true? Do you rehearse with your actors beforehand? Do you have a scene or you don't?
Yes and no. So before we start to do the film, at the period of the makeup rehearsal and costume rehearsal, so probably 2 weeks before the shooting, we're sitting down with all the important actors and actresses. They're doing the main characters. We're sitting down and reading the screenplay together. It's a very short process, maybe 3 or 2 days. So every word, every letter, everybody can ask every question. So we're discussing everything. While during the shooting period, it's not really time to analyze. Sometimes it can happen if somebody has a new idea, but everybody has to know everything before we start to work. There are some scenes we have to rehearse, of course, before the shooting. And then when we're working, when we're shooting, the rehearsals are very dangerous. Of course, we need technical rehearsal, which means lighting people, sound people, camera people must know all the movement and all the situation. So we have technical rehearsal, but I ask my actors not to use emotions, only to say that I am sitting down here, I am going over to the window, I open the window, I am coming back. So, and we rehearse this movement kind of technical rehearsal several times, 4 times, 5 times, so long the people, they're working around me, need it. So if the microphone is needed, they're doing it. If the camera people need it, we're doing it. And if everybody is ready, then we do one rehearsal, but only to feel what is going on. And I tell you why, because you can go step into a river only one time. If you're stepping into the river second time, it will be a different river, you know? So it happened to me when I was younger, several times, that I had a fantastic rehearsal. And then we started to shoot. and everything became boring, because the really emotions was used by the rehearsal. So I was that. And that's why I try to save the really emotions for the shooting. It can be that the real feeling, the real emotion is coming only the third or the fourth or the 10th shooting. Doesn't matter. But the camera must work at this time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't want to kill myself as the cameraman sleeping and everybody are waiting and the emotions are there. You know?
Thank you so much for answering that question so vividly. So there's another question. So Georgi Samsiani asks, from me, my most favorite film from your filmography is Sunshine, as it is kind of one of the most epic of your film. I want to know the process of making it. Did you have some barriers while creating in the terms of creative freedom or not?
Can you repeat me only the last part of the question?
Did you have some barriers while creating in the terms of creative freedom?
Yeah. The story was born when an old and very nice German producer asked me to do something together. And I asked him what should it be, and he said, it doesn't matter what you would like to tell. And I told him this story, and he was happy, and he said maybe it can be a television serial, a third-part television serial. And I started to write down, and I realized to me it will be nicer to have a film. And when I finished the screenplay, this fantastic old man died. So I had a screenplay, and I don't have a producer. And I tried to ask different people. People they liked my previous films, and nobody was able to do it, because they said nowadays a film like this one cannot really invite audiences. We need something which has more movement. And a Canadian friend of mine who is a producer was in Budapest, and he asked me what I'm doing. And I said, yes, I had a screenplay, but I tried to realize it doesn't work. And he said, give me the screenplay. And I said, no, I don't want to, because we are very good friends, and why to be enemies if you, I don't want to do it. No, give me the screenplay. So it was a long discussion, and finally I gave him the screenplay, and he read the screenplay on the plane from Budapest to Toronto, where he lived. And the plane landed in Toronto, and he called me from the airport. It's my film. Let's do it. Robert Lantos. So we did the film, and I was free because the producer was a friend of mine, and he loved the screenplay.
That's a wonderful story. Thank you so much for telling us. the story. And for those filmmakers, from the new emerging filmmakers, could you maybe advise them or tell them how, because you made a film right now in 2020, it was premiered once, as you spoke, and then you don't know what will happen to your film anymore. And is there a positive thing that you can tell filmmakers about the future? What do you think about the pandemic? And are you thinking about other projects as well right now? And yeah, basically just talk about the present while talking about the future, maybe a little bit.
Not easy. The interesting thing is people, I mean audience, they had to stay at home since the beginning of this year, all over the world. They're watching television, and some television channels, they created series. So the people now, they love very well-made television series with great, good actors. And thinking about it and knowing a tiny bit the history of the literature, I know Tolstoy's fantastic novel, maybe the greatest novel in the world of the literature, War and the Peace, was published in a Russian newspaper every week apart. So it was like a television serial. So I think to do series will be a part of the future, because now you can do films, they cost a lot of money, you know, we cannot do it. It's something for big countries like America or Russia or China, I don't know. And the other possibility is to do very, very low budget films, even no budget films. So if a young filmmaker would like to do something, he or she has to switch his brain in direction very low budget film. This is one possibility. And don't worry, because in 1895, December the 28th, the Lumiere brothers, they showed the first film ever made. And since this time, motion picture became a new art. And this new art is now a part of the arts for the mankind. So it's still there and will be there. Do it.
Thank you so much. That's a very positive note. There's another question a little bit more about the going back to talking about actresses. So George is asking, can you say a couple of words about Helen Mirren, if she's a flexible actress, and what about her attitude? So it's a little bit of a yellow question.
Fantastic. A fantastic person.
Mm-hmm.
An actress who knows everything about acting, and even she knows everything about filmmaking. It's happened once when I told her we can start to film action.
Mhm.
And she looked at me and said, the camera is not ready. So she is looking around. She knows everything. And she is a very, very nice person.
I think that answers the question about what her attitude is all about. So thank you so much for speaking so freely to us. And I wish I'd seen your latest film, and I think I will see it very soon. And I hope I will see it very soon on a big screen. Because I think that it has a different romantic value. It adds different romantic value to it. What do you think about that? If you could say a little bit, maybe. Do you think that films should be seen on a bigger screen, or it doesn't matter? It's just that audience should be able to see your film. Do you care about the visual of, like, if I see your film in a phone or on a big screen? Would that make a difference to you?
This is a picture of Rembrandt.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Could you just a little bit up? Yep.
Yeah? Okay. You see the fantastic lighting. You see the fantastic colors. You see the fantastic colors of the bodies. What all the medical doctors, they are around, they're watching, you see everything. So imagine it on a post stamps. This is the difference between the picture, what we have now, and the big screen. So film, movie is to me for the cinema. And it's not about the big screen. It's about the people coming together and feeling, you know, the atmosphere on the cinema. Somebody starts to laugh, and then slowly everybody starts to laugh. Somebody starts to cry because the scene is so, and all other people, they never allow themselves to cry, starts to cry, you know. So people influence each other in the cinema because it's something common. And the big screen, very important.
I think I agree with you there. So thank you for your answer. We have another question. Could you please talk about the importance of production design in your films?
Important. It's good to have a nice background. But the background is only to give a possibility to the actors to move and to help to the audience to understand the world around the characters.
So it's a background for you. The production design just creates a great background for the story and for the characters.
It's a background giving a lot of important information. And artistic value also.
Do you yourself are working with the crew, or do you tell them what you want beforehand? Like when you spoke about the table read with your actors, do you do the same with your crew? You speak beforehand and then you don't say anything else during the rehearsal?
When I am speaking with the actors 2 weeks, before the shooting, the cameraman is also is present because he likes to learn the faces. The sound engineer is present because he likes to learn the voices. What is the difference between the voices? Which voice is really powerful and which one needs some help, and etc. The costume designer is present. And my assistant is, of course, present. And when we start to work, every shooting day, early in the morning, because we start to work, I have a 5-minute, maximal 10 minutes. It's called cappuccino meeting, when everybody is drinking his or her coffee, and I'm telling what we're doing during the day, what I would like to do during the day, how I would like to do, what I need, and I try to tell what is coming next day, only to know, only to start to prepare.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you for answering that question as well. So there is a last, not question, but one of the audience members is saying, "Dear István Szabó, thank you very much for your films that you did for us." So it's just an exclamation point, exclamation point. And there is another question that I will quickly read because we're almost out of time. Natia Mechitishvili is writing you. Thank you, and it's great to see you. I had an honor to see you in Vienna, but did not dare to ask, do you think an artist has to be a good person? Mephisto theme. What was your answer when Mephisto says, I am just an artist? People have often expectations that an artist should be an example.
This film is, although the leading character is an actor, it's not only about actors. It's about all the intellectuals, they live or take part at a political regime which is not really acceptable. Yes, there are some people, they say, I was only a medical doctor. I'm speaking about Dr. Mengele in Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. Or I was only an engineer. I am speaking about the man who created, I don't want to mention the name, who created, the missile which one destroyed Canterbury. And he said, no, I am only an engineer. So it's not only about an actor. It's only about people they can influence the history or can influence other people. If in a village there are two bakers and one of them make better bread like the other one, he can and to buy in his shop. It's nice to stay and discuss the problems of the village. He can influence the village. So the person who can influence the village is a responsibility, how to influence and what to do.
Thank you. That's a beautiful answer. I think the time is up. And if there is something else you would like to say to the audience before.
Thank you very much for coming. And I am happy that you have interest to see films. And if you're going to see my films, I am more happy.
I hope that next year we're going to be able to hold a physical festival where we get to have your film on a physical big screen, and we'll get to have you as a representative, and as an opening film it would be Final Report. I hope it will happen and we will see each other soon, maybe next year even. So thank you so much for bearing with us, for being with us for this hour, and thank you to the audience, and thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.